OTAs are underway for the Dallas Cowboys, and we are here with some takeaways from the good, the bad, and maybe not worth overreacting to since it is, after all, just mid-May. Now, if you still want some OTA winners and losers from the first wave of it, which we'll do this Friday-ish, then share today's video on social media, Twitter, I guess X now, Facebook, Instagram, text it to a friend or friends, whatever. Share today's video on social media. We begin with injury updates. The first, open period of OTAs, the first day we get to see people out there, the first day the media is really there. Well, we get to know some injury updates, and there's a new hamstring injury for Luke Schoonmaker. He's going to miss OTAs due to that hamstring injury he's recovering from. Now, I'm reading tea leaves here because Schoonmaker was participating, catching passes, etc., at the off-season workout stage, which has been ongoing since after the draft. Now he's not. So probably a recent hamstring tweak for Schoonmaker. This is concerning to me because young players need to be involved in OTAs, in minicamps, in training camps to best maximize their seasons and get up to speed with life in the NFL. And Schoonmaker's consistently been banged up. The 2022 campaign, right? He has the shoulder injury. That 2022-2023 college football back end of the season has the shoulder injury. Dealt with the offseason foot injury that kind of impacted him at the combine, cost him a good portion of his rookie camp time, basically. Had the offseason shoulder surgery, recovered from that, which he also injured in training, by the way, and now has a hamstring injury. Stinks. I feel bad for the guy to consistently be banged up after making no real impact in 2023. Yeah, there were 2 touchdowns. How many did he drop? I think there is a pretty proven correlation between, hey, if you're young and you're just missing time for whatever reason early on, you tend not to start as fast, not hit the ground running. This team, as long as Jake Ferguson's healthy, playing as we saw him play last year or close to it even, Schoonmaker's going to be limited to tight end 2. And that role is never going to be worth what you spent on him. Now, injuries happen. He can get better. It can still be a worthwhile pick. I need him to at least be a good tight end 2 and allow the Cowboys some more personnel grouping flexibility and to maintain the job over Peyton Hendershot and John Stevens, and Princeton Fant got a bunch of runs with the 1s and 2s since you're not going to give Ferguson all the reps in May. Brevin Spann-4 can make the roster. It is concerning for another Schoonmaker. It'd be one thing if, first time he's pulled his hammy, whatever, it's fine. Soft tissue issues can linger as well. So, honest answers here, can be mean or be nice. Are you out already on Luke Schoonmaker? Y for yes, N for no in the comment section, at the pinned comment, actually, of today's video. Some other Cowboys injuries. We'll go a little bit quicker on some of these. Obviously, updates for you guys on Mazi Smith. No surprise here. He remains in the rehab group. Goal for me is training camp. If he avoids that PUP list, if he's good to go and active for day 1 of camp, that's probably what you're looking for there after the offseason shoulder surgery. Big Mike was asked at his press conference today, hey, what is Mazi Smith's weight goal? And Mike goes, I'm not answering that. I don't even talk about my own weight, let alone somebody else, which I thought was funny. We know the Cowboys want to get his weight up, though. That's nothing new there. Maybe a more positive update here on DeMarvion Overshown, who was coming off that preseason torn ACL where it looked like he was going to be good. Now, coaches don't often give much updates, and Mike knows how that works. I think there is some stuff to read into this quote from Mike. Overshown actually looks really good. It's respecting the timeline. I'm not going to get too far into it. If I was a doctor, which I'm not, I would say he's a little ahead of schedule. Now, that's a good thing for Overshown because this class, that 2023 NFL draft class, needs him to be good, or it's not looking great returns right there. The top 3 guys, we just led the show with it because they're all coming off injuries and or are banged up right now. Jalen Brooks and Deuce Vaughn got some runs with the 1s to an extent. That's great. Those are late round picks, right? So what is your panic level over that 2023 NFL draft class? Look, if you don't spend money in free agency, you can't whiff on an entire class. You need progress from this group this year. So scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comments section. These next three names we won't go too far in depth on here. John Stevens Jr., still recovering from his torn ACL. He was on pace to make the roster at tight end last year. If he can get back to return to performance and not just return to play, which will be a buzzword I'll say a lot this year, that bodes well for him maybe beating out Peyton Hendershot. Trayvon Diggs also on the proper rehab timeline there. Again, my goal is no PUP list for him for training camp. We'll know more in about a month. David Durden, torn ACL there. He was probably going to be a practice squad player for the Cowboys last year. Hopefully he's heading in the right direction. No major updates there from Mike, but he was the other guy that had the torn ACL, part of the kind of really shitty run the Cowboys had in like a month and a half span of just guys unfortunately getting hurt. Now, Ezekiel Elliott was, of course, back at OTAs. He and Rico Dowdle, more on that in a little bit, split some time with the ones, which I'm not going to read too much into ones and starters and stuff in May. But you can get the Chat Sports or the Ezekiel Elliott 15 jersey over at chatsports.com/Zeke15 jersey. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Again, that's chatsports.com/Zeke15 jersey. Be a little clickable link over there in the other corner to go to the Fanatics site as well. Osa Odighizuwa. This is one I'll monitor here. Osa was at OTAs today, but wasn't participating. I don't know what for. My guess would be some type of minor injury. He was kind of hanging out with defensive line coach and monitoring things there, which meant your defensive line would have not had Osa and not had Mazi, and it was like, I don't know, Chauncey Golston and Justin Rogers. Good thing it's OTAs and there's no tackling. You don't really need defensive linemen out there. Other notable players not at OTAs. We'll come back more in depth here on Micah Parsons. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb remains absent. Next real benchmark there is going to be coming up in June for mandatory minicamp. Zack Martin was away with a pre-planned thing, personal family stuff there, so nothing to worry about. DeMarcus Lawrence was not present. I would not worry about that because he was available, again, based on the Cowboys.com photos at some of the voluntary workout stuff, so maybe something family-related there as well. I'm not worried about any of these guys because they were all either expected, family stuff, whatever, or we kind of knew going in. Now, Parsons, the defensive end linebacker hybrid, who I think will probably play mostly defensive end again this year, not at the start of OTAs. McCarthy did say he's been in the facility. He's done install work for the team as well. All things that I think are positive there. Cowboys don't seem bothered at all as Parsons trains on the side. Now, here's what I'm curious about. Cowboys will have another wave of OTAs next week. Micah has said, his agent has said, the Cowboys have said that he is going to be there for some of like the open media stuff. I wonder if Micah will be there for all 3 days of OTAs or if he will just be there for the open sessions. Not that it matters that much, but again, Tank's not there, Osa's not there, Micah's not there. Like your entire front four is not present right now. It's May, it's not a big deal, but you'd rather have it be the other way, right? Now, on Thursday's live show, we will have week 2 of the Cowboys Madden Sim, Cowboys against the Saints. Now, Micah was pretty quiet in that first game. We'll see what he does in game 2 in the Madden version at least. Plus, we'll have OTA updates for you guys on Thursday as well. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/CowboysTV. Going to go some rapid fire here to an extent on the other OTA notes I've got. The offensive line starters. It's not the ones I think you'll see in week 1. The start of OTAs, the unit was this. Chuma Edoga over Tyler Guyton. Tyler Smith at left guard. Brock Hoffman over Cooper Beebe. TJ Bass in for the absent Zack Martin. And Terrence Steele in there at right tackle. Does that mean, oh my God, Guyton and Beebe aren't going to start? No. This is how many NFL teams and coaches do it. It's the young guys got to earn the spot, right? You got to earn the star on your helmet stuff. It's fine. This is a pretty common NFL-wide thing in the spring. When they first get going, when they're doing install stuff in particular, you typically like to have the guy that was there more recently. So the week 1 goal does not change. This is what this organization wants the offensive line to be. Are they going to give the job if Guyton and Beebe look like absolute doo-doo? No, but I don't think they're going to look like that. So I still think this ends up being your week 1 starting offensive line. And frankly, I'd be a little bit worried if it wasn't because you need impact from your rookies when you do nothing in free agency. So prediction time. Will Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe both start week 1, left tackle and center? A for yes or B for no? Note number 2, no surprise here. Running backs all splitting time, predominantly Ezekiel Elliott and Rico Dowdle. I will make notes. You did maybe see the photo from John Machota of Deuce Vaughn out there with Dak Prescott under center. So small RB season. This is a wide open competition for every single spot on the roster. It certainly will not be settled in May. It will not be settled in June, July. It'll go all the way down through August. And we probably will know information about who's not playing in the preseason too. Like if Zeke and Dowdle both don't play in the preseason, probably means they're going to be your lead backs. Beyond that, well, we shall see. Number 3, obviously with CeeDee Lamb not present, the backup wide receivers got a pretty good run. There were plenty of chances for Jalen Tolbert, Kevontae Turpin, and Jalen Brooks to get runs with the ones. Everyone else kind of, I think, still playing catch-up to a certain extent overall there. But there's Cooks, who we'll go back to more in depth here in a minute. But Tolbert, Turpin, Brooks all getting chances. They should play in the preseason, by the way. And I think that will matter a decent amount in terms of, can't matters probably more for those guys since they're going to get reps with Prescott. But to an extent, they're all fighting for wide receiver 3 and a roster spot. Although I think Turpin will be safe as the return man. Does seem like Turpin return man 1 and Deuce Vaughn return man 2 potentially. Number 4, this is from Michael Gelkin. DAK and Cooks look pretty sharp. That's Brandin Cooks. Good. I'll also say, as Gelkin pointed out, it's OTAs. It's 7-on-7. It's not real football. And DBs aren't actually allowed to go play the ball. So, against air almost, or stationary targets. It was sharp as they should be. Nothing to panic about there. Maybe more noteworthy, number 5, Kalen Carson got his reps at outside corner. There's been some buzz of is he a nickel? I think he's going to stay. I think he can do nickel stuff if needed, but clearly this team's going to start him on the outside, which I think does make the most sense. Most importantly, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar was the opening song for Cowboys OTA practice today, which, for the record, I absolutely love.